Lepping, upon hearing the queen's question, is astonished. He questions what exactly she is asking while trying to discern if he misheard Elizabeth's words. He wonders if she really wants to know if he likes her. For her part, Elizabeth, blushing, reflects on how she could have said something like that. At the same time, she admits to herself that she was so jealous that she ended up expressing what she felt deep down in her heart. All of this was happening under the watchful eye of Ruzabed, who, while eating, was trying to understand what was going on and why Elizabeth had confessed her feelings for Lepping. However, they were not the only witnesses to the scene. Alpha and the little dog were also observing the situation from outside. The little dog, with great wisdom, suggested they not get involved in the commotion. Alpha, on the other hand, simply commented on how entertaining the spectacle was. However, the queen noticed them, which made her a little angry, and mentioned them as a sign for them to leave. This made Alpha react immediately, suggesting to his superior, Wang Kai, that the weather was perfect for a patrol. Without delay, they both ran away from the house. On the other hand, the queen turns to Ruzabed and orders him to eat the noodles. This leaves the woman in shock, as she did not expect to be noticed by the queen. Determined, she turns around and continues eating in silence. It is then that Lepping begins to speak. However, the queen, with a firm attitude, interrupts him and says that, since he had the courage to ask, she is not afraid to admit it. She demands that he answer immediately. The hero, more absent-minded than anyone else, asks if the queen likes to eat noodles with egg and ham, and if she wants him to fry a couple more. Elizabeth, straightforward, tells him to stop pretending to avoid her. Her intentions are clear, and she demands an immediate answer, adding that today he must give her a concrete answer. These words make the hero's heart start beating rapidly. In his mind, multiple mini Leppings assault him. One of them tells him, "Calm down, keep pretending, everything will pass." But another part of his consciousness wonders if they have already figured it out, questioning what to do now. He wonders what would happen if he offends the queen with his answer, eventually concluding that he must reflect on who he is and what he is doing there. Then he thinks of running away but knows he won't get far and starts shouting for help, looking for someone who can assist him. However, a part of him urges him to stop being shy and admit that he does like her. But another part believes that whether he answers yes or no, he could offend the queen. It is then that one part of his consciousness reflects that if Elizabeth rejects him, his plan to use his reputation to unite everyone and fight against the Dark Guild will be ruined. Another part wonders why he is worried about that right now. Meanwhile, an inner voice questions whether he really likes her too. One part of him believes that he does, as they have gotten along well all this time, but his counterpart denies it, arguing that in a different world where he doesn't know swords or magic, he would be just an ordinary weakling. Finally, one of his thoughts comments that, in any case, it's just a question, and urges him to sincerely express what he feels in his heart, something all his parts agree on. This leaves the hero blushing from all those thoughts. It is then that the queen, losing patience, slams the table, demanding a quick answer and asking again if he really likes her or not. He reflects on his view of the things that have happened, concluding that he likes how she gets angry sometimes. He also enjoys it when she eagerly waits every time he prepares some food. He likes it when she takes him to see the outside world, or when she always protects him in tough moments. However, he asks himself, what am I, if not just a servant? At most, she might consider him a friend, since she is a mighty demon queen, and he questions how he could dare to aspire to something more. Then, he begins to stammer, trying to form a sentence, something she doesn't understand, which makes her think that his indecision is driving her crazy. Finally, he quickly changes his response, mentioning that he remembered making melon pudding last night. He asks if she'd like to eat it first, and then he will answer her question. His consciousness assures him that it's a good idea, as buying time and offering her her favorite dessert might improve her mood. So he gets up to look for it and comments that this year they have spent together has made him very happy. He confesses that, if she hadn't arrived, he would probably still be living in the world he created himself. So, he takes out the pudding and brings it to the queen, commenting that here it is, and when she finishes eating, she will naturally have his answer. She confirms this, blushing and happy, thinking that she understands what he wants to say. Out of respect for the creator, he didn't want to say it directly. Furthermore, she knows that he used his favorite pudding as an answer and skillfully returned the question to her. She concludes that if she eats that melon pudding, it means she accepts his love. She accepts that he has already taken the first step and that she will gladly receive it. But before she reaches the pudding, the hero takes the dessert, to the queen's surprise, and then says that he takes back what he said, asking her to forget it. She immediately demands to know what he means. He responds that it's because of the rule. It is then that Elizabeth imagines an entire dream world. She wonders what is happening and why he still hasn't expressed his feelings toward her. The hero responds that it's simple and questions if she still hasn't understood. At that moment, he approaches her, cornering her against a nearby wall. He then tells her that whether she likes him or not, that's decided by the rules. However, as the president of the Le Group, he is the one who sets those rules. Finally, he asks if she understands now. Back in the real world, Elizabeth responds that this rule is absurd. She reflects that the answer he gave her has invaded her mind, creating an inexplicable state. He replies that, in his previous world, the rule was always like this. He thinks he was so nervous about what Elizabeth said that he almost forgot his period, and that he also can't eat cold things. However, this answer leaves the queen downcast. She admits that she doesn't understand that rule, and concludes that what he really means is that she is no different from the others, and that his feelings toward her completely depend on his mood. A small tear slides down her face. Immediately, she uses forced transportation, leaving the hero alone with Rusbed. He, seeing this, asks where she is going. He then comments that it was to be expected, as upon sensing her affection, she felt offended. That's why she teleported immediately. He reflects that he has no experience with love and doesn't understand what a girl thinks. Then, she wonders if it was so obvious and if, in her daily life, she always kept a safe distance. It is then that the homewrecker realizes that both of them are fools in love. She considers it a blessing from heaven, as now she sees an opportunity for victory. This makes her smile and show a frightening grin. Then she turns to the hero and says that, since Elizabeth is gone, she begins to unbutton her shirt. She asks if she can try the dessert she made. He immediately denies it, taking the dessert away and claiming it is for its true owner. Rusbed asks why, adding that he himself said Elizabeth couldn't eat it. He replies that, although he feels a little bad, it's an agreement between her and him. He adds that in the past, he promised her that the special fruit pudding would only be for her. If Rusbed wants a pudding, there are box ones in the fridge, the ones they take on their adventures. She replies that, in that case, it's fine not to eat since she's full. Though she thinks that eating these things no longer helps her much, what she really wants is to win the hero. She doesn't know when Elizabeth will return, so she has to conquer him in that time. It is then that, after a brief time, Elizabeth returns. She announces that she is back, has digested her emotions, and from now on, whatever happens, will happen. However, when she arrives, she finds no one and asks where everyone is, noticing that the plates are still on the table. She also hears strange noises coming from the hero's room. This catches her attention, so she heads there, wondering what that sound is. Finally, she slams the door open and asks what they are doing. Upon seeing them both, she starts stuttering and asks that it not be that. She falls to the floor and begs them to stop, desperately pleading for them to stop. However, Rushabed bursts out laughing and says that the rice is already cooked, assuring that from now on, he will be hers, while his laughter intensified. But obviously, it was all in her imagination, as instantly, Lepping waves his hand in front of her, trying to wake her from the dream. It works, as suddenly, the woman looks at him. Noticing that she's already listening to him, he asks what she was laughing about and what this rice cooking thing was, finally questioning if she wants to eat more. The woman, a little embarrassed, replies that after breakfast, she felt a bit dizzy. Also, the scare of being chased by the Dark Guild hasn't quite worn off yet. Immediately after, she throws herself at the hero and announces that she is going to faint again. However, he holds her by the shoulders and tells her that, if that's the case, he'll take her to the sofa to rest for a while. Intrigued, she asks if he will just take her to the sofa. The man nods, but then questions where he should take her. The harpy responds that she wants to go to her room to rest in her bed, as she would feel more comfortable that way. Finally, he comments that if she's comfortable, he will be too, and in the end, everyone will be comfortable. And with that, we've reached the end of this week's chapter. If you made it all the way to the end, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this chapter in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe so our community can keep growing and we can reach more fans like you. See you in the next video. In the meantime, if you're from the near future, I'll leave you the next chapter and a comic you're sure to enjoy. Thank you for being part of this adventure.